the first thing that pops in my mind, monster.
It's like Pop said he's just like, there's a Frankenstein, because he doesn't have a brain.
I think of a big guy with a flat head and things coming out of his ear, sides of his head.
Scary. I think he's slow. It's scary. I think he's slow. Because he walks like this.
Scars.
Frankenstein is very scary.
Scary.
You know, I guess the most important thing I would say is that the relationships that you develop, whether it's with your children or with your spouse or with your friends, those are ultimately the most important things in sort of cultivating the world that we live in. And you can artificially go about that, which is what Victor tried to do. And he spent a lot of time, and he tried to be very scientific about it in terms of creating a creature that he thought would you know, be wonderful and be attractive and all those things. But ultimately the creature and Victor had a lot of hardship because they did not take the time to develop a relationship, have the bond necessary. The creature never really developed any friends, as far as I know, that helped bring him along. And it ultimately tells me that we all need somebody to help us, to guide us, to love us, to care for us, to be our friend. And that is the most important thing. I mean, when we're born, we need connections, and that's what, you know, we're all about. And I think that's what Mary was trying to tell everybody in the story. I think that's ultimately what was the downfall of this creature, because I think this creature wanted to do a lot of great things, did not have any of those connections, and then you know, the story unfolded, and you know, sort of many of the negative things happened that would not have if he had had the connections necessary. Makes those decisions.
Is this as exciting as you thought it was going to be?
Yes.
Okay. I believe that children need to be nurtured and loved, and that without that they won't be able to function fully and carry on a normal life. I think that they'll struggle to even do the most simple and kind of common tasks.
I don't know if you can really equate it to a human relationship, because in a human relationship they've done studies, so we know that if children don't get nurtured at certain points in their life, then all kinds of things can happen to them. A big study was done in Romania, because a lot of Romanian children were in orphanages during the years before the Berlin Wall went down, and those children, almost all of them, turned out to have a lot of mental illness. So nurturing at certain points in your life is very, very important. On the other hand, nurturing doesn't account for all of a behavior. I think the genetics plays a big part in it too. You know, when is human human? You know, does he have the mind of a human? Does he have the feelings of a human? I don't know. If he was more human, let's say he was more of a human than a monster, then it probably would have made a big difference, because the bonding that you have right away with a child is very, very important. But if he is more of a monster than a human, maybe it wouldn't have made any difference.
So my impression of Victor and the creature is it's not, it's similar to parents who potentially have bring a child into the world before they're really ready or prepared, in that whether the parents don't have a good enough connection, or they don't have enough stability or understanding about the responsibility they're taking on. And in my opinion, Victor did not understand through his whole sort of idea of bringing this creature to life what the responsibility would actually be for him, and it sort of all hit him in a very drastic moment where then he decided that he could not accept that responsibility, which unfortunately had a lot of negative implications for the creature. But he had thought about it, he'd planned on it for months and months and months, and he still was not ready to accept it. So in my mind, that's what sometimes happens to young parents who are just not ready for the responsibility of taking children on in the world and then just being great parents for them. The different accidents of life are not so changeable as the feelings of human nature. I had worked hard for nearly 2 years for the sole purpose of infusing life into an inanimate body. For this I had deprived myself of rest and health. I had desired it with an ardor that far exceeded moderation. But now I had finished. The beauty of the dream vanished, and breathless horror and disgust filled my heart. Unable to endure the aspect of the being I had created, I rushed out of the room and continued a long time traversing my bedchamber, unable to compose my mind to sleep. I think in the end, as the creature was conducting almost like a life review, I think he was thinking back on his life, reflecting on all the things that he did, many of which were not good. He again came to realize, I think, the importance of the relationship he had with his creator, even though it wasn't a very good one or a very healthy one. I think he understood, though, that there was love there. It just wasn't the kind that people are typically used to. And although he never got the nurturing he needs, I think he's now at sort of the end of his life realizes that he may not have gotten the nurturing he needed throughout life, but he got he learned enough about the motivation behind why he was created in the first place, and that there was some love there. And I think he's at a point in his life near the end where he's almost at peace with that, and he's ready to move on and sort of just vanish from the face of the earth. And ultimately he believes that that's kind of the best way for him to kind of wind down, I guess, the end of his life. So does he still need the nurturing? Yes, but I think he also understands that he still was able to do a lot of things in life, and even though he made a lot of mistakes along the way, he's sort of been able to reconcile that fact and now just disappear forever.